where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. Today, we're diving into a conversation about parenting, race, and the idea of being colorblind. Rapper and actress Eve recently shared that she wants to raise her son colorblind, sparking conversations about whether that's even possible and whether it erases history. Can we truly teach our kids not to see race, or does it do more harm than good? How do we balance protecting our children while preparing them for the reality of the world? We're going to unpack these questions, look at the impact of color blindness, and explore what it means to raise children in a racially conscious society. So let's dig into it. I am joined today by my royal panel, Constance Carter, wealth activist, and Marlo Layson, TV and film producer. Hi, ladies. How are you today?
Awesome.
Good, because we get ready to dive into it. We get ready to dive into it. I'm going to keep my comments to myself, but I am definitely going to ask the viewership audience, how do you feel about Eve and her idea to raise her child colorblind, and do you even think that's possible? But let's look at the video to kick us off.
Rapper Eve and her husband Maximilian Cooper have been married for 10 years now. Although Eve admits she thought about race when they first started dating, she doesn't think about it anymore. Maximilian had children from a previous marriage, but in 2022 Max and Eve welcomed their first child together. While discussing the way she would want to raise her children, the rapper stated she doesn't want her children to see color. In an interview with Vibe Vixen, Eve admitted she wanted her kids to be colorblind. Eve says although she loves being a black woman and wants her children to know the black part of them, she also thinks it's important for them to know their white side as well.
Okay. All right. So we're going to dig into it. First of all, I want to let you guys know that I am biracial. My mother is white. My father is black. I was raised by the black side of my family because my birth mother gave me to my aunt when I was 3 years old. I consider myself a black woman through and through. So I'm going to ask you, if we talk about this, okay, let's see why. Because normally when we say when the Wahite people come around and we say, they say that, we shake our heads. Like we shake our heads when we hear them say that, and to hear that come out of Eve's mouth really drives me crazy. So, Constance, what does raising a child colorblind mean to you?
It's dumb as shit, is what it is. It's just dumb. That's the dumbest thing that I've ever heard come out of Eve's mouth. Is that she wants to raise her child colorblind because in this America, maybe it's because she's over in Europe, right? Does she live in Europe now? Maybe that's what they do. I don't know. But I know in this society, it's like you gonna get reality faced at you real quick when you try to do things like that. Now, he might be insulated, like some of the people in the audience said, because his daddy's white and he's a billionaire. So maybe he gets access to different opportunities, places, and spaces that us normal folks don't. But I think it's stupid as shit for somebody to say something like that. You gotta think about this, Lala. You're half white, right? Slightly lighter than me. Both of my parents is black. Nobody knows the difference, right? We appear as black people. Nobody knows until you tell them my mama's white. So, I think it's unfortunate, and it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But that's her world, and I guess when you get to a certain socioeconomic status, you could choose whether you want to be black or not, right?
I believe that's true. And then me coming back and forth from Europe, it's really interesting that when I'm in Portugal, people don't care about that. Actually, they're really interested in like knowing where you're from. Like if you're Brazilian or if you're, Italian or if you, and I actually had a really deep conversation with someone here where I told them about how we in America put race on our driver's license, and it about floored him. He was like, what? We don't do that over here. How stupid. So yes, there is a difference. And I know she is based in Europe a lot, but that still doesn't change the fact that, darling, my honey, you are still American, and America still has an issue. So, Marlo, what does raising a child colorblind mean to you?
I don't know, because I'm raising black kids, and they don't have the luxury of color blindness, right? None of my kids can. Even my daughter, my middle daughter, who is as fair skinned as Lala, does not have the luxury of walking through life pretending that everything is shades of white, right? So I think it's a bunch of horse crap. But also, like, this is her circle now, right? Eve lives in like a Bavarian castle somewhere. Like, she is a person couldn't be more removed from the part of Philly that she's from. You know, she's from West Philly, South Philly, I don't know, but she is totally disconnected from that. So, you know, good luck to her. I hope that she is successful in raising a colorblind child. I hope that the rest of the world acknowledges her wishes and they allow this child to not know the difference between red and green and brown and white and gray and black. Like, good for her, girl, but it's not reality for me and my kids. Mine don't have that luxury. So maybe I'm a little jelly. I don't know.
Not jelly.
Setting up her child to be slapped in the face is what I think. Yes, there's a way that we raise our children to see as a way to judge people. A lot of these young babies don't know unless you teach them anyway, unless you teach them the wrong way, right? That comes from home, baby. Okay, that comes from home. When you teach them at home, that's what they're going to go out into the world with. But the fact that she is saying this, I think that she's going to be setting up her child, her son, if she has any more children, to be slapped very royally if they plan on standing any kind of time in the United States of America. We all know what's going on in the United States of America. Now, Chris Wilson said, I love Eve, but I don't understand her statement. Maybe it's somewhat possible because they're wealthy. Do you agree with that, Constance?
Absolutely. And then if you think about it, so let us think about what you guys both said is the fact that she's in Europe. The daddy's white. They don't have to deal with American racism in the same way that we do. So perhaps he won't get a slap in the face unless it's through maybe media, social media. Perhaps he won't be in places where it's going to affect him. His race is going to affect him. I mean, you're not even talking. You're talking about somebody who's a billionaire. So that just gives them access to a whole different world. And so it might be reality for her.
For her. But no. For her.
Yeah, but not for us.
Right. Not like that. Exactly. So
I will say this. We know that in the royal family, right? Let's look at the royal family, because this is a great example of wealth and access and all the things, right? Harry goes and marries a biracial woman, not a fully black woman. He goes and marries a woman who is biracial, right? And they claim, if you listen to his and Meghan's story of why they have divested from the royal family and given and abdicated their titles, is because a comment was made about the firstborn child of theirs, right? A comment was made about how much of a darkie is he gonna be, right? That's what the people wanted to know. And so I think that while we say no racism or lack racism because of the socioeconomic structure, the reality is it's there, right? Because I don't know who Maximilian's people are, but we know that the throne, the British throne, was responsible for pushing the racism, right? And getting the church to like to amen racism, right? So that they could make this money off the slave trade. So I don't know what's in Maximilian's background, but I do know that racism has its foundations in Europe. So although it may not be as pervasive as it is in the United States, it still exists. And there still is an opportunity for other people within that echelon that don't really want Black people intermingling in the circle in the beginning. There is definitely an opportunity for that child to experience a not so colorblind experience in that upper echelon wealth circle. So Like I said before, good luck, Eve.
That is a great perspective, because I just think maybe she ain't been called a nigga yet in that circle, and once she gets called a nigga, then it's gonna be a whole different conversation.
And I'm not coming to your rescue.
You know, they like to do that behind the backs. Now let's be they're trying to be couth. They may not say it to her face just yet. She may find out just by accident.
Mm-hmm.
Don't call us girl, because we trying to tell you now that there's some bullshit you pushing.
That part.
Get somebody else to answer that question.
Get somebody else to do it.
Get somebody else to do it. Constance, does teaching kids to be colorblind risk erasing the culture and our historical significance?
You know, it's funny because I have a friend who is from she wouldn't be looking at this. She's from Costa Rica, right? And she's black. She's half black, but she looks like a black woman like me and like you. She looks like maybe Puerto Rican or something. But anyway, she's married to a black man. And I remember, because our kids were raised together, and one day she told me that she didn't want her son to see race because she felt like it would make him feel inferior. And because, you know, in other countries, they don't see race, they see nationality, right? They don't look at, you know, because of course, race is a social construct. And so now that they're adults, he's 25, him and my daughter, same age, and he married a white woman, and that white woman is kicking his little black ass. So he's found out very quickly that he's a black man. He found that out when he was a teenager. But I thought it was I didn't think it was novel. I was gonna say I thought it was novel. It wasn't novel. It was stupid as shit. But I just don't think she understood. You know, being from another country, you need to know your history. You need to know you're black. You need to know about white supremacy. You need to know about racism, because it helps to prepare you for the real world. And so for when you have black people who are in this country that would actually say that out loud, it's like, are you in the same place that we are? Where you at?
But the real world will kick your ass. I'm gonna tell you that right now. It just simply will. I mean, even, you know, I got it all my life. In mine, I was set in what I was, but I got it all my life from both sides. So you better be preparing your children for what the real world is, because you can't be up underneath mama's feathers 24/7. Child needs to understand his history and what that means. But we're going to continue to dive into this. This is just ridiculous to me. Can y'all tell that I think it's absolutely ridiculous? But we're going to talk about it. We'll be right back.
Hey, if you're just tuning in, you are watching Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. I am Tiara Williams. I'm also known as Miss Black Hollywood, and I am the proud producer of this show. So I hope that every day when you join us, you leave a little smarter than you came, because that's the point. Otherwise, why are you watching? So if you want to receive notices for when we go live, Fly Nubian Money goes live every single day. That's Monday through Friday at 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you don't know, now you know. All you have to do is text the word Queens, that's Queens, that's Queens, to 87948. That's 87948. That's Queens to 87948. Yes? If you want.
Yes, as simple as that. We make it so easy for you. So all you have to do is text the word what? Queens. Queens to 87948. 87948. Yes, simple as that. You don't want to miss a show. And I get my alerts every single day, even when I'm on the show. So we don't want you to miss anything. So go ahead and do that right now. But I'm ready to dive back in this. We had a comment that I think is very interesting. Angelique Strickland says, that's all good, but in my opinion, you should be transparent with your child about the real world. Do you agree with that, Marlo?
Absolutely. I absolutely agree with it. I think that not saying the truth, right? You end up having a worse conversation when your child is 17, 18, 19, 25, right? When they marry some woman who she never heard anything racist said in her household, right? Because her ears aren't tuned to that. But then once he's in the family, now all these weird comments are popping up. I think that people don't think long term. I think people think altruistically when it comes to their kids. I just want the world to be perfect, right? But it's not. Right? The world is what it is. And unless she is keeping this child in a castle, forever and ever and ever, it's going to be some harsh realities that hit him. There's going to be some kind of internal something that's going to hit him where he'll want to know more. And I hope that Eve is equipped to do that. I want to say right quick, though, Black Lexicon said that she created her own reputation, not Black people. Come on, stop playing these games, y'all. You don't get popular in the mainstream if we don't first co-sign you, right? We are the culture that has made these Black millionaires and billionaires. We are the ones that say they fly in the street, and that's how they get on the magazine covers. We bring white people to this culture. So don't be saying she made her own reputation. That's crazy. It just don't. I like you, Black Lexicon. You be here every day. You normally chime in on some real shit, but this is a little throw it off for me. Like that comment threw me, and it's just not. It's not true. It ain't true.
You know what I love about you is you be using them SAT words. As soon as we get off here, I'm about to go and I'm about to Google some shit because I love the words that you be using. Altruistic. Yes, I gotta go look that up.
T-shirt time. Do you think that ignoring race unintentionally can uphold racism? If we all started thinking like this, like as Black Lexicon said, this is enlightenment. I don't believe it's enlightenment. I think it's something else. But do you think that ignoring race can uphold racism?
That's stupid as shit, because when you go out in the world, you're going to find out that you're Black. So I'm just going to ignore it. And then when I go out, it's going to be like, Mommy, I didn't know that there was something different about me. Let me share something. When I was 4, I wanted the Baby Alive doll. I shared this in my TED Talk. I wanted the Baby Alive doll. Like I asked my mom for probably, I don't even know how long it was, because when you're a kid, you don't have a concept of time. But I asked her for a long time. Mom, I want a Baby Alive doll. What is Baby Alive doll? All I seen on TV was this white Baby Alive doll. And so my mama finally gave me the Baby Alive doll, and I was excited. And I opened it up, and it was Black. And I was like, this ain't the Baby Alive doll that I wanted. This is ugly. I don't want this thing. My mama was like, why? I was like, because I want the one on TV, which was white. And I didn't understand why I thought the Black doll was ugly. I don't even think it was inherently placed in me. It was what I seen on TV. It was what I exposed to. We're just not, the things that are around us every day remind us of who we are. And then as I got into school, then I realized that I'm Black, and that Black is inferior to white. So when you don't equip, and I'm not saying that we are, I'm saying this is what was taught to me in school. And so you got to equip your children with the truth of who they are, so that when they go out in the world and they learn that Black people are inferior, and then they start to look in the mirror, and then people start to see that they're actually Black, and tell them that they're Black, and remind them that they're Black, that they won't think that the Black part is bad. So it's very important that we do not ignore, or we try to ignore the idea of race. The world is going to remind us every single day.
Well, it's really interesting, Constance, because there is a whole study that was done with dolls. I don't know.
That doll was bad. That happened to me, really. I thought she was ugly because she was Black.
Because we've been conditioned that way, definitely that way. I think, and that's by design. It's by design. So, Marlo, I want to ask you a question. So, how do you feel about if we teach children to value their identity while embracing others? So, how can we do that? How can we teach our children to value their identity while embracing others? Do you think it's that hard for kids?
Actually, it's not. I've shared before, my dad was in the military, so we lived all over the world. We lived in Germany. We lived in different parts of the United States. And when we were in Germany, my parents were very intentional about making sure that our extended family in Germany looked exactly like our extended family in New Orleans, right? So there was no change. The movies that we watched, Black people were centered in our home. Obviously, we watched Silver Spoons and all the other shit that white people were at the center of. But my parents were very intentional about, we are Black. This is who we are. This is our family, right? This is, be proud of it. As you go out into the world, be proud of who you are. And it made me stronger. It made me better. It made me lean into these SAT words that Candace likes so much, because I saw particularly young white boys as my competition intellectually. So I was always pushing, right? If Brad name on the board because he read these many books, I'm about to be above his name because I read more books than him. And that's just the way that my family operated. So I think that you can have your children in predominantly white spaces and have them still understand who they are in the world and what some people in the world, how they may perceive them. But I think if you don't, right, if you don't buffer your children with blackness, if you don't have your black friends coming around, if all you do is adopt Maximilian's rich friend group, then it's going to be a little bit harder for you to instill that what is naturally inside of them, right? It's going to be harder for you to instill that in them. And they're not going to see likeness between themselves and other Black people. And that's just a disservice to them, because if you really want them to know both sides, then you need to be intentional as a parent about making sure that both sides are ever present so that they don't forget one or the other.
Right. And Black is beautiful.
Listen,
Black is beautiful.
Black
Black
is the shades of the rainbow. Do you hear
screenshot
me?
it right now, because you got some Black beautiful happening. Like,
yeah, we've accomplished so much, and we've made so many strides, and we've overcome in spite of, and there's no other race that has been intentionally oppressed as we are, and yet we still thrive and rise. Like, that is something to be proud of. And so when you take that away, it's like saying that you're not proud of all the things that we are. We're resilient, y'all. And I love us for that. And I think it's something to be celebrated, not ignored.
And I think we're going to be even more resilient with the next coming years. We're going to have to make a way.
Think positive, because you know what's going to happen is, this is what I'm praying, y'all. We're going to come together. We're going to start working together. We're going to start looking to each other first. We're going to start trusting each other more. We're going to start, this is going to make us step into our power. That's what we're going to do.
I agree. That's the way I'm looking at it. I'm purposely out here looking for people who I can give my business to, you know, how can I uplift my community, you know, and that doesn't always necessarily mean you're not supporting other people. One of the most big myths about historically Black colleges is you got to be Black to go there. Yeah, that is not true. We uplift our race as well as others. You just assume that is what's happening. So
Black, you know, means anti nothing else, and nobody else gets punished for looking to their communities first. Nobody gets talked about. When you got Jewish people saying, "I want to support Jewish people," nobody bats an eye. When you have Asian people only doing business with each other, but going into your neighborhood to sell you the goods and services, nobody bats an eye. But the moment we said, "Hey, let's get together and practice collective economics," oh, y'all are racist. First of all, we can't be, but y'all are racist. Y'all don't want to work with white people. We give y'all everything because we remember
in the supply chain. They're never not going to be part of the supply chain. So we're not Xing anybody out when we're intentionally supporting Black people. If I hire a Black plumber, he ain't make the pipes, he ain't make the snake, he ain't make the damn wrench.
Somehow.
Now, maybe his tool belt, maybe his girl made his tool belt. I don't know. She might be a little crafty. But for the most part, we're not excluding anybody. And you got to look at this as an entire supply chain, right? From production to distribution to service delivery, right? And I think, Candace, I'm with you. We're going to touch and agree. Black people are going to come together in 2025 and beyond. We're going to do the right thing by each other. We're going to support each other so that we can really live in the glory that is for us, right? We ain't got to wait till we dead to get the glory. We could get it and see a little bit of it while we here.
The glory that is who we are.
I agree. And on that really positive note, we'll be right back.
You want to grow your money and not blow your money, as Constance says, check us out at flynubianmoney.com. There's all kinds of resources, programs, videos, resources. In 2024, there's no reason to be broke when there's information all around us. So get your money right. flynubianmoney.com.
No, Constance said, get your shmoney. Shmoney. Money right. But you can do that with us, guys, because we are here to uplift you, help you get your financial house in order, to teach you the skills that you need moving forward. Listen, you need to really make sure that you are checking your shmoney. No joke, because no matter what we talk about on this channel, money's still green. and you still need to make sure that that money in your house is growing. And in order to do that, we can get you started very easily. You just need to go to flynubianmoney.com. We have a lot of resources there for you, and shame on you if you don't go. Don't complain to us if you don't go and go get some free stuff. Free stuff. Make sure you go and do that right now. Okay, so there is a comment I want to address, and then I want to move on to some really interesting facts. Cheryl says, why do we uplift other races? They don't uplift us. Black first and black only. Now, Constance, I already know what you're going to say, but Marlo, what's your
How do you know, Lala?
I know.
I'm the blackest light skinned chick you know. The blackest blackest.
My shirt on it said, my black is beautiful. Okay, my black is beautiful. So do you agree with that? Do you think that we give too much grace by uplifting other races?
Absolutely. You know, we'll march around the block 42 times because Houston's gave us 5 shrimp instead of 6, right? Instead of going to the black restaurant that has the good shrimp and the good service and the atmosphere, right? But we'll say they too much. Now you want to march for Houston's, they ain't gonna come down on price and they still gonna harass your ass. So I think that we've been conditioned to think that mainstream, that white, that other is better, right? That's through that conditioning of that all these years that they had, right? This long game that they've been playing, we've been conditioned to think that, and we'll give them grace. You get a bad service at a restaurant, carry your ass right back to lunch and bring 3 friends with you. But if you don't get a straw at the black restaurant, you on Facebook talking mad cash money shit about how terrible it is. And so I think that it's really a mind check that we have to be intentional about treating each other right and giving people grace. You know, your cousin just started the restaurant, right? She just getting there. She's not at Houston's level yet. So you need to it's not saying be treated badly or go back to places where you're treated poorly, but we just know you still going to Walmart, right? Walmart make you check out your own shit and you still will stand in line
and lock up the black hair care products. They lock up the black hair care products.
So I mean, it's conditioning, and because the conditioning has been so long, we have to be intentional about deprogramming ourselves and looking for ways that we can empower other Black people, small and large, right? But yeah, it's a mindset thing that we have to overcome, and it's deeply ingrained.
I'm glad.
I think we also have to look at ourselves, though. Let's be realistic, okay? Let's also be realistic. Now, I know we are on Eve, but we too, in our own community, need to stop the bullshit. Pause for a moment to let that sink in.
Let it marinate.
Because we tear each other down. I can't tell you how many times I've been called all sorts of names, or, oh, she thinks she's cute because she thinks she's like, no, I don't think nothing. That's what you assume. So we need to stop from within our own culture with this as well, and start understanding that, hey, we are such a beautiful rainbow. I see it in my family. My dad had 9 brothers and sisters. They were all different shades, okay? All the way from the chocolate choc, all the way down to the vanilla with the vanilla bean. So I got to see all of that. And we have to stop tearing each other down within our own community if we do want this unity. I want to look at some stats that we have because I think they're very important for us to look at. So
can we comment on Cheryl Lee's comment that was started though? Because I do want to address maybe Trump being in office will make Black people out of the trance.
Yes, let's back it up. Go ahead and comment on that, Constance.
So she said maybe Trump being in office will take Black people out of the trance we've been in for 4 years. Well, we thought we had a union with other races. LOL, here's to a better year. Cheers. And I would beg to say that we've been in this trance for the last 50 years. As soon as integration happened, we thought the white man's ice was colder. We thought the white man's restaurant was better. And so all the time that we had to do business with one another, we stopped doing business because we no longer had to do business with one another. When we had our communities, when we had segregation, the dollar circulated 1 year before it left the community. And so then when we have this idea of inclusion, which only meant We spend our dollars with them. Because when you think about it, the only reason why they even allow integration to happen is when the boycotts happen and we stop spending money with them.
It affected their money. Anytime you affect white people's money, that's when
the change happens. Absolutely. So that's why it's so important that we're intentional about how we spend our money. We have a choice. We're able to do it however we want to, because you have access to the internet. You can take a couple 30 seconds to find a Black-owned business. We got $1.3 trillion in spending power going forward, 1.7 going forward in 2025. Do business with
people. Say that number again, please, Constance.
$1.7 trillion is the projected number in 2025 of spending power. Now, remember, only 6 hours is spent in our communities, as opposed to our Jewish counterparts, 30 days. Okay. So that's why we got to really be intentional about how we're doing business. This is huge. So this whole idea of Trump and them rolling back DEI and them rolling back affirmative action and all of those things, that just means, hey, we gotta pull ourselves up and we gotta start working together. We gotta stop giving them all the power that we've given them, because their ice ain't colder. Their food is definitely not better. We are better together.
Well, maybe they wouldn't be fighting so hard to look like us and act like us. They want everything but the struggle.
Then there's that. They want everything but the struggle.
That's right. Yeah. And I agree with that wholeheartedly. Marlo, did you have anything that you would like to add to that?
No, and they stole the seasonings and never used them, but that's just what I'm saying.
I'm gonna beat your ass. You ain't that line.
Oh my God. Okay, we're gonna go to some stats because these are really important. So this is cracking me up, but I ain't never gonna forget that line. Color blindness. A study published in the Journal of Social Issues found that promoting color blindness in children can result in lower awareness of racism and a reduced ability to address inequalities. Wow. In a 2023 report, 78% of Black parents said they feel schools are not doing enough to teach children about racial history and diversity. Now, I'm going to pause right here for just a second, because we already know this is exactly what they're doing, especially in states such as Florida and Alabama, Mississippi, good old state of Texas. All right. I literally saw just this week how many books are being discarded and burned, guys, because they don't want anybody to even get their hands on these books down in Florida, because now they're introducing all of this new history that erases ours.
You know what though? They're about 100 years behind on that, because you know what? They done fucked around and gave us the internet. So the truth is out there. We're gonna get it anyway.
Never have given niggas the internet.
Destroy all the books you want to. The truth is out there, baby. These kids is on.
Somebody that already scanned it and made it a PDF, my guy. We gonna read it.
Yeah, we gonna get it.
What is that? Where's that TV show? That ding 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 ding. The truth is out there. Yeah, it's a little too late, because I'll tell you what, now is the time that we at home, okay, you don't want to teach it in our schools. Now is the time we get back to our oral tradition. And we have always been good with that, because they didn't want us to read in the first damn place. So what did we do? We told the real stories and we passed them down. We have gotten away from that. And now we need to get back to our roots in doing that and letting our children know what our true history and our strengths are. You can't erase us, baby. We were here first. You might have got pale in the skin, but you didn't get all the richness that we brought, because you stole every last bit of it and claimed it as yours. But let's get back to the stats. Let's look at the next slide. Okay, there we go. Mixed race population growth. According to Pew Research, the multiracial population of the United States grew 276% from 2010 to 2020, highlighting the importance.
That's true. I think more people are just identifying as biracial. right? Because
Yes.
right?
Yes, and let me finish this, but I do want to address that. I want to highlighting the importance of discussions on race and identity for mixed families. Okay, let's back this up. All right, let's talk about this. Um, First of all, on all the forms that we have ever been given in my lifetime, you didn't get a chance to put down biracial.
Yeah.
You had to choose. You didn't have a choice. And they didn't even have mixed with something. Okay. But then there became this awakening where people wanted to come out and show the diversity in the world. And now all of a sudden we saw Cheerios had mixed families. Right? Am I wrong? Because now they were catering to a different crowd. So Marlo, you kind of smile at that. So what are your thoughts about that? Do you think that this has a part in us like not awakening to what's still real, but still yet, kind of catering to what the world is changing into?
I think that it's just it's a reflection, right? It's a reflection of more biracial people, more racially ambiguous people in marketing departments. It is people bringing their lived experience to marketing departments and being like, I think we should have this sort of family, right? And if you've ever done marketing work, like at high level, like commercial advertising, the best idea wins, right? The idea that wins the room is the idea that the people see on television. And so I think that that's just twofold. It's also intentional to not show an intact Black family. It's also intentional to ignore intact Black families that are watching this, right? Because marketing and commercialism always kind of tells us who we are. So that's all this is a reflection of that stat that you said, the 76% increase over a decade. That's all that it is. It's just people trying to capitalize on a group that we hadn't been marketed to. And if there's some data that shows that Asian families are on the rise, you're going to see a bunch of commercials that are targeting Asian folks. That is just the way that marketing works. And I think we as Black people, we obviously take it personally because we've been here in terms of the races, right? We've been here longer and they've been ignoring our ass, just like pretending we ain't even here unless they need some jive turkey talk. And now when we see Black people, we're seeing ourselves not in the necessarily the reflection that we actually see in our everyday life. And it's just, it's the way it's going to be, because what I know about the corporate structure and being in corporate circles when it comes to content creation is that unless you got a me that's just unafraid to speak up and say, man, that's whack. And when the people start commenting and saying that that's a bunch of bullshit, don't say I didn't say it, right? Every decision-making room does not have that presence, right? Most decision-making rooms just have a person that's just sitting there like, okay. And they let them.
But even I've even commented on those commercials. Like, does every family have to be mixed now? Like, because for a while that's all you were seeing. And then we're both like, okay. Because at first, when they were putting these commercials out, people were like, oh, look, there was more advertising. Look, we got a mixed family on there. Ain't that cute? And then it just became everybody wanted to jump on the bandwagon. And then it was like, can we just please have a full, intact Black family? Like, y'all breaking up Florida Evans and James Evans again. Y'all, trying to break down the whole structure. And I just think that there is a balance, but it always has to swing to one side. The marketing and everything has to go to the wrong side. So, Constance, how do you
lazy
think
child? It's just lazy, lazy, lazy.
Thank you. So, Constance, how do you think that we combat that with companies to let them know that we don't necessarily have to see all of that, but we do also embrace the mixed culture?
Yeah, I think that we just start creating our own commercials. We create our own content. People aren't the actually idea of people watching television and looking is on a huge decline with social media. So we're the ones that people are watching. So when and it depends on what your algorithm is, right? What's on your timeline? What's on your For You page? I don't see any of that stuff. I only see Black people on my For You page. So because I only look at Black people stuff. So I just think we just continue to create content. And I think that the powers that be are realizing that they're losing power and that they're going to have to change the way that they push out content, because the way that we're viewing content has changed drastically.
I agree. We're going to take a deep breath and come back to this conversation. We'll be right back.
Fly Nubian Money is now on Spotify. Yes, yes, yes. We are on Spotify. So if you can't watch us, you can listen to us. All you have to do is search Fly Nubian Money and we will appear. All of our episodes. Make sure that you leave a 5-star rating and reviews so other people that come along and are looking for a good show to watch, they'll follow us too. If you are interested in being on Fly Nubian Money, sorry, I don't have any spaces. I'm just playing. If you are interested in being a queen or a king on Fly Nubian Money for the day, please reach out to me. I'm at info@realvirtual.net. That's info@realvirtual.net. Also, if you need help with your business, go ahead and send me an email for that too. Okay. I've said enough. Now back to the show.
Okay. She did not say enough, because I'm going to reiterate it to give you some homework. We have a magical email address and it does lots of wonderful things. And one of them is, if you have something that you would like to say and you want to come on our panel, you are most welcome. And you can do that by emailing us at info@realvirtual.net. Now, if maybe you're a little camera shy and you don't want to do that, but you also don't want to miss a show, all you have to do is go to Spotify and download us. So go on over to Spotify and download Fly Nubian Money so that you can take us on the go. Sometimes maybe you need to go take your job. Maybe sometimes you need to go to the gym. Maybe you just laying down and relaxing and don't feel like watching nothing on the tube. Well, all you have to do is listen to us every day. Make sure that you go over there, give us a 5-star rating, because that helps us be seen by new people as well. And you know you want to share us. You know you want to share us, because we're talking about the real good stuff. So go ahead and do that now. Now, listen, we're going to shift just a tad bit, because I feel like Eve is living in a dream world. But this does bring up a good question. So, Constance, how can parents of mixed race children navigate the conversation about race in a different way?
I was gonna say, I don't know. I ain't got no mixed kids, but I mean, I think it's important to let them know that both exist and they can coexist. You can be both Black and you can be both white. Now, we didn't make up the 1-drop rule. That was placed upon us. And so when you think about historically how we had to just kind of embrace one side of our culture, that's no longer the case. And it's okay. So Black people can't get mad at biracial kids because their mom is white. She's white. That's half of them. And it's okay. And they can both be simultaneously both things and be proud of both things. And I think that that's okay. But as far as me and my blackity black ass kids, we just talk about Black shit. That's all we talk about.
Well, you bring up a really good point that was never really talked about in my household, because I was raised by my aunt. I mean, I was with the Black side of my family, but I also still experienced, like, people were curious about it. They were always like, "Well, your mama white? Well, what that make you?" They just asking all sorts of questions.
Yeah. Did you ever get teased because your mama was white? Oh, your mama white?
God. If I embraced a zebra, it became my favorite freaking animal, because I was called that every single freaking day. So instead of people hurting my feelings, I embraced it, and I still love zebras to this day. God dang it.
I love that.
I'm tired of people. So take that. You ain't hurting me. Like, let's go riding. That's what we do. So I want to know if you think, Marlo, and you did touch on this, but how do you think Eve's perspective as a Black woman has changed a little bit, because now she has married not just a white man, guys. This is a different level. We're talking about 2 different levels, right? Not just a white man, not a hardworking single middle class man. She has married, what is he, a billionaire?
Billionaire, and has just totally engulfed herself in his world, in his culture, you know. So she ain't really probably fucking with the people in West Philly or wherever she's from. So, you know,
Well, look at her.
Forget where you come when you've removed yourself.
Exactly. But you can see the evolution of her
Wait.
and
What you say about the crunchy wig? What you say about the crunchy wig?
Oh, when she was wearing them, she ain't wearing them crunchy wigs no more, girl. My girl got silky wigs.
But they say that's how you attract the rich white men.
Well, she not wearing them no more. But
yeah, but that's how you attract them. You wear them raggedy ass wigs, and you can get
well, let me give you a raggedy wig because I could use me a little Bavarian
That's what I heard. Girl, get you a raggedy wig, and you will be a white man magnet. It's a thing.
Well, let me keep these locks. I can't be bothered. I cannot be bothered. I will keep these locks because I cannot be bothered. I don't know. I think there is something that happens, right, when you've had a completely Black experience, right? So Eve was living in Philly, born and raised, just like Will Smith, got plucked out of there, became part of the Rough Riders, one of the most ghetto ass conglomerates in hip hop, right? You had DMX, you had the Locks. All they were talking about was going to jail and gunslinging and all the thing, robbing and everything, right? And then she gets into that mainstream crossover, right? Now she making with Gwen Stefani, she on the pop chart, she got her own show. Once you get your own show and them white folks greenlight that TV show for you, now you got to straighten up and fly right. So I think she's kind of been on this trajectory for a while, and I think she just really is disconnected. Looking at that wedding photo, I ain't see too many Black cousins along the aisle. The wedding picture from the purview that I saw is another one.
I don't see a chocolate inside.
But yeah, I think that she is just in a different world. And I think she's adapting to that different world. The same way that at 13, I had to adapt to being in a completely Black New Orleans, New Orleans that is mostly Black. At 30 or 40 years old, Eve is adapting to another reality.
I'm not even going to front. I'm jealous. I want me a billionaire. I want me a billionaire white man. I'm jealous.
You want to adapt?
I want a billionaire white man. I will forget all y'all Black ass Negroes. I'm just kidding.
Let him put me up in the Alps.
I would just blow up. That would be
out here talking like Turner. Okay, I'm gonna adopt an accent.
Right. A white billion, and he's not a bad looking dude.
You know, give me a
not my type. I like my Carl husband. I think I keep him.
Yeah. I don't know if I.
Well, you know, I get it for that too, because everybody keeps saying two Black people shouldn't be married.
I ain't about to teach you how to bathe though, so I probably can't do it because I need somebody that come pre-bathed already.
And the pink.
Okay, so listen. Here's a comment, and unfortunately I don't know how to pronounce your name. I'm very sorry. If she wants to get away from her bloodline, I say let her go. But she doesn't have to tell Black people how to reject reality. Now, here's what the reason I called that up is because y'all guys brought up a point I didn't really see in the graphic at first. Where are her people? Where are her people in her marriage photos? I don't see them. So has she pretty much stepped out of the whole line of having any of her folk there? Does anybody know what her background is with her family? Because I sure didn't see them in those pictures. Do you know anything about their houses?
No, I didn't see anything. I don't know anything. I saw a picture recently of her mom when she was younger. Her mom's gorgeous. Her mom was completely gorgeous when she was younger. But I didn't see her in the wedding pictures, but doesn't mean she wasn't there. But I certainly, I didn't even see a mixture of white and Black. Like, Black people here. I just seen mostly white people. I didn't really even see any. I definitely didn't see no Rough Riders over in her wedding.
I didn't see not very nutter. None
of the Locks. I ain't seen no Jadakiss at the wedding. That's a damn shame.
So
I'll get y'all Black asses too if I got me a white billionaire. I don't care. Shit.
And like I said, you would blow up. I can't even. You shouldn't even be fixing
gonna
your mouth.
implode.
As my mother used to say, you shouldn't even be fixing your mouth because that ain't happening.
I know, I can't do it because I can't even go. Never mind. I can't even go.
We're gonna hear of a woman imploding, a rich woman imploding in Europe, and we're gonna know it was Candace under the pressure of that billionaire watch.
I know, but the money, I don't know.
So, Marlo, so with us being there, we're laughing and we have a lot of fun with our conversation. But honestly, let's think about the babies for a minute, okay? How do we teach the children to appreciate diversity while advocating for equality? Because yes, they're babies, and like I said, they get taught a lot of things at home. So how can we start in our home to teach them to appreciate themselves and also diversity?
History, right? Not abandoning it, not dancing around it. You know, it's funny because there was a bombing of the Black Panthers in New Orleans in the Desire Housing Project years and years and years ago, right? And we were watching a PBS special. I'll never forget, I was about 11 years old. We were watching a PBS special and they were talking about the Black Panthers. And this is before The Truth of the Black Panthers came out. So this is somewhere late 80s, early 90s. And my dad said, that's bullshit. They ain't talking about how they bombed it and the people had to make a link chain with the children to stop them from firebombing, right? Like he immediately took that moment to correct the incorrect history that was being perpetuated on the TV in that moment, right? So I think that telling the truth, making sure that your children are exposed to Blackness, right? In subtle ways, buying a book with the Black lead character, like Candace, you know, getting that Black baby doll, even though they're gonna be like, I wanted the one on TV. It's still the same one, right? I think that you do it by having people around them and not saying, my parents never said, you Black, we having a Black experience, right? It was just my norm. It was the norm that as my parents, they were intentionally creating. My dad was a staff sergeant. He could have been hanging with anybody on the base. He was intentionally choosing young men who were a lot of times from the inner city, who were married to young Black women, and he wanted them to have a family, an extended family away from their family, because it would make them more successful, and that's what part of what his job was, but because they would be happier. But it was intentional, and I think it has to be intentional. I think you can't play this kind of, oh, they'll find out, they'll figure it out. I think you have to be really intentional about teaching the history of Black people in the world and in this country to your children. And that's where the pride comes from. The pride comes from the learning, right? Once you learn that before we were slaves, we were kings, we were artisans, we were orators, we were dancers, we were all of these, everything, right? We had civilization prior to those shackles. I think that once you learn about the shackles and how the people overcame after that, that is where the pridefulness in Blackness comes from. And I think you can't be derelict as a parent, whether you're rich or not so rich. You got to tell your children the history of who they are, because if you're not, then the world is going to say, y'all was dusty dancing in the jungle. We put y'all in shackles. We did y'all a favor. Y'all, Martin Luther King.
We civilized you. Yes. 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 I'm over it. I'm so over it. And you know, like you said, the Google that shit, the you Constance, because you know what? There is so much information. Every day I try to put a Black history fact on my Facebook page. And of course, Facebook is trying to step me down every single day, talking about I'm distressing people. No, I don't think so. I think I'm uplifting people. And believe it or not, a lot of the facts that I find, adults didn't know. And when they find out, they're glad that they did. Like, oh my God, I didn't know that. And then I have private messages all the time. I went and looked that stuff up. That was deep. So it's not even just on our children's level. We need to elevate our own self to make sure that we understand as well, because sometimes I think we forget. We get so caught up, and maybe that's what's going on with Eve. Maybe she just forgetting that the struggle, because baby girl, I need you to wake up. You're asleep at the wheel. And that is a problem. And we have to continue to uplift our communities. And with that, I do want to say this. We have a way to uplift our community too. I'm super excited to be one of the first people to do our Fly Nubian Money Club classes. We had a wonderful time last Saturday. I taught you how to buy a home. And not only just buying a home, every step we talked about inspections, appraisals. We talked about lenders. We talked about agents. We talked about it all. And we went deep in the crevice with the information. And not only that, I hope that I awaken people's minds to seeing that, you know what, you are also a world citizen and you have the right to go and see this world and live this world as well. So this is part of the things that we do in Fly Nubian Money Club. We are teaching you and opening your mind. This month is you get it for a month free so that you can get a good trial and seeing how we set this up. We had a great class. We had great handouts. We had people still asking questions about it. And in just a couple of weeks, we're going to have another one. So you want to make sure that you sign up right now for flynubianmoneyclub.com and get your mindset. We said we help you with your mindset and your money. And this is the part that touches the mindset. So do not miss out. We don't want any of you to feel stuck. Open your mind. flynubianmoneyclub.com. Now, with that being
Girl, you
said,
did that, Marshall. You did that, Marshall. Get it, girl. I love it.
Listen, we had a really good conversation. And we also have been through an hour, guys. Can you believe it? We're already here. I think we had some great comments. We had some wonderful comments from our viewership. Hey, you got, without you guys making the comments and coming and spending time with us, we wouldn't have a show. So it's time for final thoughts and where we can find you. Now, Constance, I'm going to start with you. Can you please let us know what your final thoughts are and where we can find you?
Every week, I'm going to tell you how much I love Black people. I love us so much. And I think it's extremely important that we are educating our kids the right way at Black people. There's no way that you're going to ever shield them in this country from white supremacy and racism. It doesn't mean that you have to be so caught up in it. It doesn't mean you have to live and breathe it, but you do need, your kids do need to be aware of it. And I'm extremely intentional about what I teach my children about themselves. And it's so funny because I was always the one teaching them about race and who they are as Black people to make them proud. And they used to get mad at me. Mom, you always talk about Black stuff. But now when I see them looking at their TikTok, when I look at their algorithm, they're looking at history, they're sharing things with me. It's because of what I instilled in them. Instill the truth in your children. Because even with the history that we were taught, it's not everything. How many of you learned about Black Wall Street or even Rosewood or other Black communities in your history class? None of you. It's not in the history books. So I don't care what they're doing over in Florida. I don't care what they're doing in Texas. It's up to us as the parents to be teaching our children who they are so that they can be better human beings, so that they could be just good people, so they can understand who they are and they can be proud of who they are, so they can be ultimately successful. But I love us and I want us to do better. And that's the reason why I do things like the B1 Real Estate Mastery Training, where I'm helping Black people to invest in real estate. Real estate is the #1 wealth builder. Back in 1863, there was the Homestead Act of 1863, where they gave millions of acres of land to white people, and they didn't even give us our 40 acres in the mule 2 years later after we worked this country for hundreds of years. So we have been left behind the wealth experience because of white supremacy, racism, all of those things, predatory lending and all that. So the #1 way is to build wealth through real estate. We got training. I'm helping us, and we're practicing collective economics inside of it. We can work together. Also, Black women, I love us. There is an African proverb that says, when you teach a man, you teach an individual, but when you teach a woman, you teach a nation. Black women, we build. You give us some bacon, we're going to make a meal. You give us a seed, we're going to make a baby. We do all of that. And so if you give us some knowledge, we're going to change the trajectory of our community. And that's the reason why I have the Net 7 Collective, where we're helping Black women all over the country build their 7-figure empires. And it's so amazing because I've watched them on social media and I'm seeing them out there just kick ass. And I'm sitting on the front row, just watching this all transpire. And it just makes me so proud. So The next cohort starts January. And some more amazing unicorn of ladies are going to be getting all the information out. I pour everything into them. And if you don't know anything about me, I built the largest Black-owned real estate firm in California. I'm a real estate investor, a cannabis investor, and I built a great empire, but I'm teaching Black women to be able to do the same. So if you are a Black woman or you know a Black woman, have them go to bookwithconstance.com. But where can you find me? Everywhere. I am Constance Carter. Thank you for the time. I appreciate it.
I always feel so empowered after Constance gets finished. I always feel like, show you right. I'm ready to follow in formation every time she gets finished.
I love it.
Listen, we joke, but we love each other on this panel. We all of our queens and king. We love one another, and we do stalk and chicken hawk each one of us. We love each other that much where we do follow. So that's your homework too. Make sure that you check in and tap in with Constance. Marlo, where can we find you and your final thoughts, please?
So my final thought is everything Candace said, right? Education starts at home, and we know that these books are being burned, and we know that they're being taken out of school and all the other things. So that means that we have a responsibility to teach our kids the things that we know we didn't learn and they're not going to learn. I think that it's unfortunate, or maybe it is fortunate, that Eve has found herself in this good fortune, and she has the ability to disconnect from Blackness. But I would say to all of us watching and everybody else collectively, please do not be fooled by the illusion of inclusion, right? There is nothing worse than a Black person that tosses aside all of the Blackness, all of the people that love them, all of the people that brought them up and made them who they are, just to cross the road and find out that nobody really loves you over there. I love Black people. I want the best for us. I want everybody to make a conscious effort to support Black business, small and large, and just get back. You know, we're the descendants of the people who created Rosewood and Greenwood and all the woods, right? It's in us. It's not removed from us. Maybe the fear has been put into us to not want to attempt it again, but we have to try. Because we know, we've said it before, nobody is coming to save us. If you are looking for me, my name is Marlo Layson. I mostly dabble in documentary, but you can find me with works created under my name on the internet, both written and video format. If you want to follow me on Instagram, I'm Oram Marlo, and my dogs are barking because it's time for them to eat. And thank you all for joining us. And I appreciate this. This hour of the days that I join y'all are the best hour of my week. So I love y'all for that.
And you need to make sure you follow her journey, because she is doing something very exciting in 2025. What are you doing, Marlo?
I am working to qualify for an amateur bodybuilding competition. So in January, I'm going to really ramp up my training and start sharing that journey. If you all would mind sharing any journey with me, or venturing on that journey with me. My dogs want to be the star of the moment. I don't know why. But follow me. I'm Oram Marlo. That's my name, backward, forward, little underscore on the end. In the beginning of January, I'm going to start chronicling that. So if you want to join me, give me some support. Maybe you want to join along. Maybe you want to get on your own fitness journey and see how far you can push your body. Come on with me. I need some company.
No thanks.
All righty.
Cheering you along. I will be cheering you. First of all, let me just say this. Your face looks beautiful. I don't know what your body looking like right now, but your face looks great. That's the first thing I noticed when I got on here. Like, damn, my face looking real chiseled and real good right now. So obviously it's already working. I don't know. I'm gonna have to starve myself for something, because I can't do the bodybuilding. I can't do a marathon. I can't do it. Now I'm gonna stop saying I can't, but I'm just not.
You absolutely can.
She's just not.
But I understand not want to. It is hard, honey. I am a New Orleans woman. I love to put the seasoning. I love to make
Girl, y'all got that good ass food out there.
5 months of my life, because I'm everything that I know culturally, everything that's in my DNA. I got to put it aside to achieve this goal. So
yeah, that's great.
Pray for me, people.
We got you. We're gonna uplift you. We got you. And here is my final thoughts. Listen, you're gonna love who you're gonna love. I can't fault you for loving anybody, what color they are, because I was taught that red, yellow, black, and white, we are all precious in His sight. And I can tell you that, I'm one of them swirl worlds. But I can tell you this. You still can instill the truth in your children. You still need to help them be proud of who they are and our history. Don't just ignore. Don't just ignore who their backgrounds, because in truth, we all kind of mix with some. So you need to go and look at that and be honest with your children and help them to make the world better by teaching them better. And you can find me very easily. I put everything under this little simple website. It's bit.ly/Laura Key info. And if you want to go back and watch the class that we did on Fly Nubian Money Club, all you have to do is join, because the replay is there. You can also catch up on what we've done and also be a part of what's going on in the future. That's what we have for you today. I think we had some great conversations. I think that we say thank you for being a part of our world. We appreciate you, and we feel that you are family. So this is Thursday. We got one more day. We got Friday. So you want to join us tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You want to make sure that you text the word Queens to 87948 so that you can get a notification that we go live. And you also want to go to flynubianmoney.com to get your resources. But until then, we say thank you. We love you. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace out.